Hello guys, Extreme Tom here with Misty,
Hi.
and I'm going to show you quickly how you can increase your FPS on Minecraft when using Optifine. I'll do another video at some point to show you how to install Optifine with mod loader and Raise Minimap. But for now, I'm just going to show you how to optimize your Optifine. So you can see at the moment, I've already set my settings to all super duper rubbish, so that I'm only running at 21 FPS. My computer has the capability to run at 650 FPS, although in this tutorial, it won't ever hit that high because I've already got quite a lot of stuff running on my computer. So, without further ado, I will show you what I've done. At the moment, I am running Sphax 64. Not ideal, especially if you have a low spec computer. You're really going to want to turn that down. I've also got connected textures on fancy, like everything I could possibly have set on fancy. So, first thing we're going to do is jump into here. Oh, also, I'll leave my FPS up in the corner so you can see I'm currently at 22, and we can see how the changes I make affect my FPS as we're doing the video. So first thing I'm going to do is jump into the texture packs, set myself to default. Nice and quick. So that'll take a little bit for that to have an effect, but you will notice it soon. Here I have got graphics set to fancy. Well, instantly if you've got a rubbish computer, or you're getting really slow FPS, whack that down to fast. Next up, most people think they need to have the render distance on extreme. If you've got a slow computer, don't. Tiny. It might not look that great, at least you can play. It's really going to make a difference. It does really reduce your render distance though. But I'm going to keep it like this just to show you the effect it's going to have on the FPS. You can see the FPS still up in my corner and it is creeping up. Smooth lighting is currently on maximum. We want that to off. I don't really want it to have to worry about doing that. Let's just stick that down as well just so I know it's definitely where I want it. VSync, we're going to want this up to max FPS. Now, look at my FPS already. I've just changed 4 settings and I've creeped up to 80, roughly 80 FPS. We're also going to want to turn stuff like bobbing off. Bobbing is when you're walking around and your character's like bobbing up and down, hence bobbing. So turn that off, just an animation that you don't need. Next thing you want to do is Advanced OpenGL. Click that to fast. Brightness, not really going to make a difference. GUI scale, really personal preference. I absolutely hate having it tiny or super large, so I tend to have it set to normal. Fog fancy, again, anything set to fancy is going to slow you down. Stick fog off. To be honest, I mean, look, even though my render distance isn't that great, I'm not being kind of swamped in rubbish fog, so that's gone. Fog start, doesn't really matter where you have fog start if you've got fog off, so wherever you want. Chunk loading, I put mine on smooth because I have the ability to do that with my current spec setup. If you've got a single core computer, you might want to leave it on default. Definitely don't kick it on multi-core. But for my personal preference, I'm going to keep it on smooth. Sometimes this can bring your FPS down a little bit, but it will mean that your game runs a little smoother constantly. What I mean is it's not going to jump like from 100 to 20 FPS. You'll kind of keep on a nice even keel. So I'm going to leave it like that. Server textures on, off, depends on if the server you're on is forcing textures upon you. That's really only going to affect you if they're forcing you to download an entire texture pack, which will basically eat up your bandwidth and possibly slow you down. Although it should download asynchronously and not have massive effects, but if you're unsure, just switch it off. It's fine. Details, dropped items, you're gonna want to put that to default because fancy tries to make it 3D. You can see the shadowing around Misty's foot just underneath here, underneath where I'm clicking. If I just click that a few times, you can see the shadow appearing. That's not needed. I mean, little things like that. Even though you think, oh, it looks really nice, it's only one thing. That's going to add up because you're going to run past trees, other items that are dropped. All of that slowly slows you down. So we'll stick that to default, which is off, I believe. All of this you can turn all the sky and everything off. All of these little added extras, you can switch them off. That will help to pick up your FPS a little bit. Quality, I tend to do all of these off. Connective textures, really don't like connective textures anyway, so I'm going to turn that off. Everything else I'm pretty happy with. Anti-aliasing, if you've got this set to something like this, 12, as high as it, I think 16, as high as it goes. If you change it to off and you think, oh, it hasn't made any effect, it's because, if you read this, read the little doobry that pops up, effective after restart. So you need to change that and then restart, and then you'll reap the benefits. Performance, I always put mine on smooth FPS and smooth world. Preload chunks, I do a little bit, so that if I'm running around like it's already preloaded a few of the chunks ahead of me, you don't have to do that, you can switch that to off. Load far, not necessary. I'll move on to animations. Animations are all pretty much like extras, you don't really need them. Turn them all off. And you can put this on minimal as well. You're not going to get nice potion effects, you're not going to get fire effects, smoke, all that kind of stuff. Don't really worry about it, to be honest. And so I think, make sure I've done everything I want to do. Yeah, should be fine. So now, if I go back into the server and run around a little bit, it should creep up soon. Oh, it doesn't seem to be doing that at the moment. Mind you, I do have a lot of stuff running. Not quite as dramatic as I wanted to show you. When I tested this out earlier, it jumped up to 250, which was pretty nice, but I do have a lot of stuff running on my computer. But I have at least tripled my FPS
Nice.
during this video.
Are you running full screen?
No, I'm not running. I can't record this in full screen.
Yeah.
It will wig out. Oh, look at the sky. There you go. That'll increase my FPS. Basically, because it's not rendering anything. So pretty pointless. So let me just double check I've done everything I wanted to do. Video settings, bobbing off, fast, performance, FPS, render tiny, all that good stuff. I've probably forgotten something.
The full screen thing, that's just a helpful hint that it does increase your FPS if you run full screen.
Yeah, I can't show you now, but if you press F11 and run your client in full screen, it increases your FPS because you're no longer trying to render your Windows Explorer, and it really helps. Really does help. It can massively increase your FPS. The other thing that can hugely increase your FPS is if you're running a graphics card like I can't remember any of the graphics cards. If you've got like a ATI graphics card or
Radeon,
or an Nvidia graphics card, they are not by default set to run Java, which means Minecraft runs in Java. You are not reaping the benefit of having a good graphics card. You're still using the integrated graphics card on your motherboard, which is rubbish. Especially if you've got a really high-end graphics card, you're just not getting the benefits from that at all. So you're really going to notice difference. So what you need to do is, on your computer somewhere, you will have settings for your graphics card. There will be like in your control panel, you might have like an Nvidia or an ATI. It is ATI, isn't it? Whatever. Or Radeon. Radeon? Yeah.
I think it's ATI Radeon.
Yeah. Or Radeon control panel. In there, you'll be able to select a program to run it with. All you have to do is hunt down your Java and tell it to run with Java, jump back into Minecraft, and you'll notice a giant leap in FPS. I showed that to a user before, and they went from 20 FPS to 190 FPS, just doing that alone. Makes a massive difference. I'm running pretty smooth here, actually. And recording at the same time, and running a lot of other stuff, so not too bad. Although I did want it to be running at like 250. But, as you can see, I'm not taking bad FPS. I could probably change my texture pack even and still keep a fairly good FPS with these settings. But it's playable. I mean, I can see the mobs, yeah, they're a little bit dark, and I can't see massively far, but at least I could run around and play with my friends if I wanted to. So that's a quick tutorial on doing FPS settings. I've probably missed something and I've probably got something wrong. If I have, I apologise. Just ask me. Leave a comment or something, and I'll see if I can answer it. I'll also see if I can do a video at some point on how to find your control panel for your respective graphics cards. I'm not going to cover every graphics card, that would take forever, but I'll basically run through the Radeon graphics cards and the NVIDIA graphics cards and their respective controllers, so that you can actually just jump onto your computer and do it very, very quickly, because that'll probably be a giant help. And as Misty said, probably the quickest way to jump up your FPS is to apply the changes I showed you here and also play in full screen. So just press F11 and you should notice a jump. If you're still experiencing bad frame rate after all these changes, chances are you've got a pretty bad internet service provider. Your ISP is probably not particularly good, so you might want to take a look at your net connection. Also, just remember that Minecraft does not like YouTube. If you run YouTube and Minecraft at the same time, don't moan that you have really bad FPS. You're going to have rubbish FPS. Also, any website that implements YouTube or any Flash, for example, Planet Minecraft, loads of Flash from Planet Minecraft, that will drop your FPS massively. So yeah, just turn everything off, absolutely everything you're using, and you'll see a giant increase in your FPS. Well, hopefully a giant increase. But yeah, that's it for now, so hopefully you find this useful. Bye!